it became 1 minute apart. I've never gotten pregnant, so I had the shower real quick, so I blood clots, and my baby, it was right in my hand. Hello, my name is Titi, and this is not the usual kind of videos I make, so this is like a real life kind of stuff, and if you're not interested, you can scroll over at this point. I'm not sure what kind of emotions I'm going to display as a result of this video, but I'm going to try to keep it as minimum as possible. And if I feel a rush of emotions, I hope I remember to cry off camera. Let's go. So if you're watching this, I lost my 18 weeks pregnancy. Yes, I was pregnant for 18 weeks. That's like 5 months. That's just into 5 months. When I found out I was pregnant, I was so happy. My husband was so happy. And we're looking forward to having our baby. I was due on the 30th of August 2024, which I was really looking forward to. Counting down days by days, weeks by weeks. At 8 weeks, I noticed that I started bleeding at 8 weeks and went to the hospital. We had a scan and they said baby was fine. That was the first time we seen the baby, and they said baby was fine. And I just had an area of bleed which would resolve itself. Okay, so I went back home. I bled every day for 2 months. I bled every day for 8 weeks. Yes. And at 16 weeks, my bleeding stopped. And we're so happy. Yeah, finally, I stopped bleeding. I did not know that something else was coming. 2 days to my 18 weeks, started feeling, it was on a Thursday, on the 21st of March. It was my sibling's birthday. I started feeling pains, like period pain, down below, and I was at work actually. It was like coming every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes I would just feel this sharp pain. Texted my husband, said, babe, I'm feeling this, I feel like this. And then he said, just come home. So I went home and I had paracetamol and I slept. I was uncomfortable all night because the pain was just there. So I slept. The next morning, the pain became 5 minutes, apart. Every 5 minutes, I feel this pain, pain. And we called the hospital and they told us to come. So we went in and we saw the doctor. We met a doctor at the hospital, and he said, explained what my symptoms to him, and he said, I think it's just normal pain. Just go home and have paracetamol and come back on Monday. This was on a Friday now, 22nd of March, Friday. It was like 5 p.m. ish. Yes. So he said, come back on Monday for reassessment. I'm like, come back on Monday. You're supposed to hold me for observation, all right. And then he did a speculum examination, which he was very, very uncomfortable with. He hurriedly did it. It was like 10 seconds. Usually speculum examinations usually take like a minute at least. They check up and down, what's happening, and this guy was done in 10 seconds, and I'm like, oh, okay. So he said it was done, and then I'm fine, and I was not in preterm labor or anything. He took a swab from he put it into some container and said, it's negative, so you're not in preterm labor, just go home. I went home and my husband made noodles for me, if I can remember correctly. Yes, it was noodles. And after the noodles, I just told him, I feel like sleeping. And then, okay, I'm gonna sleep with you, so let's go in and sleep. And we slept. He slept basically because I couldn't sleep. The pain was just, very intense at this point. It was now like 20 seconds apart. Mind you, when I was at the doctor's, the pain was like it became 1 minute apart at a point. And then this doctor, it was seeing me in pains. And then it was just like, go home, you'll be fine. But when I got home, it was like 20 seconds apart, and I couldn't sleep. So at the point, it became very, very intense, and I was crying. I was on the floor. I could not stand up anymore. I was literally holding my husband's legs. I held his legs on the floor because I could not stand up, and I was crying while holding his legs. My husband called the hospital, and they said, yes, come in. You guys should come in. I said to him, I didn't even have the strength to dress up at this point. But I said to him, okay, I feel like using the toilet. Let me go to the toilet so that we can go to the hospital. And while I was on my way to the toilet, something told me that I've heard stories of women saying they went into labor. When they were going into labor, they felt like using the toilet. And I was like, oh, nah, it's not gonna happen in the toilet. I just waved it. I was able to use the toilet, and when I was done, trying to, come out of the bathroom, this pain became very, 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 very intense. And okay, the pain became so strong and very intense, and I just saw water rush down from my body. It was like I peed. It was like 3 people peed at the same time, and the water just came like, brah. I saw that. I called my husband, babe, come and see this. While I was in pain, immediately my husband saw it. I think he kind of knew what was happening, because immediately he saw it, he started crying. I could see the tears in his eyes. Me still being positive, I've never given birth. I don't know. I've never gotten pregnant, so I didn't know that I was in labor. So I'm trying so hard not to cry right now, and I hope I don't. After the water came out, the blood followed. I saw, blood, a lot of blood. It was sticky blood, and it was all over my legs and down to my socks. And I was like, what's happening? What's happening? At this point, my husband started calling the ambulance, and I said to him, okay, let me just pop into the shower real quick so I can wash off the blood. That I can't go to the hospital like this. I walked in the shower, and I slipped. I even wanted to fall. Thank God my husband was there. When I slipped, it just held me quickly so I wouldn't fall to the ground. I was in the bathroom, and I turned on the shower, and the shower was on me. I was trying to wash my legs, and I felt a very strong thing come out of me, and then I put my hands. It was a large blood clot, and I showed it to my husband. And then, sorry, I'm back. And I showed the clot to my husband, and it was like, babe, we really need to get to the hospital. I think he already knew what was happening, judging from the fact that he's a doctor. A few seconds after that, I felt the strongest pain I've ever felt, ever. And then it just came out like, I put my hands on there, thinking it was a blood clot again. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't a blood clot. It was my baby. It was my baby, and it was right in my hands. It was gasping for breath. 4 seconds later, it was quiet. I knew he was gone. I screamed. It was my baby. I screamed. At this point, he was on the phone with the ambulance, with the paramedics, and they came in. And the placenta was still inside me, and he was outside. So the paramedics told my husband to lay me on a flat surface so I don't pass out, because I was passing out a lot of blood. I was literally blank. My husband was crying, but I was blank. I said to myself, one of the things I was thinking was, so my journey of 18 weeks, waiting every day to meet this boy, is all gone, is ended. Just like that. I couldn't process any information, anything. They gave me something for the pain, and then we got to the hospital. I wasn't passing out placenta, and I had to go in for an evacuation the next morning. I gave birth around 8 p.m. and I was in pain all night because they had to monitor me. They had to see if I would pass out the placenta normally, but I did not. Naturally, but I did not. So they had to take me for an evacuation the next morning. I have never seen my husband so scared. He was really scared. I did the evacuation, and I came out, and I've gone through all those pain. I went through labor, I went through childbirth, I gave birth on my own, and then an evacuation. Yeah. I would have gone through that a million times if I had the option of that and to have my baby with me right now. I guess God has other plans, right? So I am making this video to remind myself 1 year from now. Today is the 31st of March 2024. I'm making this video to remind myself next year, 31st of March 2025, that I am going to be with my baby. I am going to have my baby by next year. 1 year from now, I'm going to be watching this video. If I hope I'm able to post this video one day. I hope I'm able to, but I'm making this video to tell myself, to remind myself next year when I have my baby, that all things are possible. The pain I'm going through right now, the grief and everything, I know it's going to pass, yeah, and I'm going to have my baby next year. I need a baby to give this to, and this was from the hospital. The hospital gave me this box. It's a memory box, and it came with this, a teddy bear, and like a towel for the baby, and a candle. This has "I love you to the moon and back" written on it, and coincidentally, that's one of my husband and I's love phrases: "to the moon and back, now and always." So coincidentally, the candle they gave us at the hospital had it, "to the moon and back" on it. This chain came with the box as well. This little heart shape inside had something in it, but it was removed and put on the baby as well. My husband has his. This is for my husband. So we took out the love shape inside and put it on the baby as well. So the baby has mine and my husband's hearts inside. So I wear this pretty much all the time. And then the footprints of the baby, the fingerprint of the baby was put here. The foot and the finger of the baby, fingerprints of the baby and footprints. A picture frame for the baby. A picture of the scan, the first scan we ever did, and other scans, or a memory card for memories and stuff like that. Here is to believe, here is to hope, and here is to believing that there is nothing God cannot do. Yeah. And if I ever get to share this video, I hope it motivates someone out there. This is my dark times. This is my shine period. This is literally the worst period of my life, my entire life. Yeah, but it is what it is, and I know it's gonna get better. I know God is gonna show up for me, and I know that my rainbow baby is coming, my sunshine is coming. So yeah, I managed to end the video smiling. Wow, that's a rare occurrence these days. That's a rare sight these days. Well, thanks to my husband, it makes everything easier. He's making everything easier for me. And this goes without saying, marry a kind partner. Anything you do, marry a kind partner. That is literally the most important thing, because I can't imagine going through this and I don't have somebody to go through this with. I don't mean just going through, I mean really going through this with. My husband is amazing. He's amazing. If I'm ever going to talk about, what happened in the hospital, ever, I don't know, but literally my husband is amazing. That's just what I want to say. And if you watch this video up to this point, thank you. Here is to faith, here is to hope, here is to believe. Bye.